Hi there, this is Ghost, also known as Art Ghosts on Twitter. You can also find me on Patreon and Coffee, or ArtStation where I post some more of my finished art pieces. I also try to do a weekly art stream on Picardo and YouTube, though lately I've been having some issues with Twitch, so I'm still trying to get that figured out. This is a little bit of a different video. I've been doing a lot of gameplay videos, me playing through Let's Build a Zoo and Don't Starve, but I've been doing a couple of sketches over the last day or so based off of a prompt on Twitter. I got a couple likes on it, people wanted to hear about some of my original characters, so I also just wanted to make a brief video about it and just kind of post something on YouTube talking about these characters a little bit. So first we have Lucas here. I draw him a lot. I've drawn him a lot for years now. I just wanted this to be like a little quick side profile or kind of from behind drawing of him. He's one of the main characters of the original story idea that some friends and I have called Rebel and the Secrets of Diatros. I don't know how much I want to explain about the story, but he is basically a terrible person and has to learn how to work with people and manage expectations and his own anger and his own prejudice to create, I guess, this idea of the future that he wants for himself, but also trying to expand that to what does that mean for other people. I like drawing him. I've redesigned his outfit a couple of different times. I've settled on this for at least the beginning of the story. It's kind of it's a layered piece with it's got folds on it as if it were a hood, but it doesn't actually pull up over his head. I guess it doesn't really matter, but he's also essentially a vampire. He feeds off the energy of other creatures as he cannot naturally maintain the natural flow of energy within his own body. It's a fantasy sci-fi story, so there's some different elements to it that I'm looking forward to get into when I can actually get to drawing pages for the webcomic. Um, let's see here. Next we have Adrian. She's a character that I wrote a few years ago now that is set in a small town. She's a Christian sorority uh, girl who has just got all this bullshit going on in her life, and she was a lot of fun to write. This is a character, her name is JD. She's based off of JD from Heathers, and she was also a character that I wrote for the same small town setting with a group of other friends. We all had different real life scenarios that we wrote together set in this world, and it was one of the most interesting collaborative writing experiences I've ever taken part in. And JD was an absolute menace to society. Didn't actually get to any murders yet in her storyline, but it was a lot of fun. Next up, we have Mateo. He's from the same story. He's a frat guy. I meant to draw him more buff, but the pose was difficult, so I just kind of let it be. He's a free spirit, but has a soft center to him. I jokingly call him the woke frat boy that I would die for. Um, he was also really interesting to write as a character that was very superficial, but did have elements of vulnerability and things that he needed to keep private in order to maintain a certain persona. Well liked by everybody, a hoot and a holler. Next up is a character that's kind of shifting gears back into the same story that Lucas is from. This is John. I think I drew him at the wrong age range considering his lack of hand, but I drew a younger, elder John uh, with only his right hand. Because there has some circumstances in the story which cause him to lose the left one. And he... Oh boy, how would I describe John? He has good intentions, but he really needs to back off. Keep his hands to himself and not, appropriate shit. Next up is Parker, who I have drawn a lot. He's kind of the, uh, conduit for angst in my writing. He's also a character from that same small town setting where he... Oh man, there's so much to do with his backstory. I've drawn other illustrations with him and some other characters. You can probably go through the media on my Twitter page and find them easily. But I did this very, very quickly, and I probably would change some things now, but I'm trying to get better about having my digital sketches be closer to what my traditional sketches in, like, a sketchbook would be. A lot more messy, not always a true reflection of what my current style is, but still getting across ideas and practicing, essentially. And then I went into doing some D&D characters, some Dungeons and Dragons characters, the first up being Freedom, also called Chiron of Gore, while he was still the figurehead for a cult in the continent of Yuatan. I drew him, I guess this is him around teenage years, in a very fancy sort of cloak with a high collar. He's got these interesting twisting horns that I really like how they turned out, and he's got some makeup as well in various geometric patterns, just like some rectangles. And those change in various pictures that I draw him in, so it's not really any particular meaning to it. It's just something that he does. And then last but not least is Romer here. Just a big old smile on his face. He is the certified bog boy, smelly man, bastard of his D&D party. He's a warlock, and he's still learning how to be a person, let's just say. He spent a lot of years being raised by a bog witch, or a hag, I should say, and he ended up not liking that life, going through a bunch of her shit, taking it, and getting the hell out of there. So he's able to do magic through a blood ritual that was done on him by this bog hag, and he has this supernatural connection to what is he comes to know as the Prismatic Lord. And it's really interesting the way that my DM wrote this deity and how we kind of determined how it interacts with Romer and his reality. One of the things being that he is colorblind. I don't remember what kind of color blindness I gave him, but with using his powers with the Prismatic Lord, it has allowed him to be able to see a full range of colors while he's using his magic, or various effects of using his magic. And I've actually started drawing a second, like an outfit sheet for him that I'm really excited to get posted up on Patreon as soon as I finish coloring it. Well, anyway, I just wanted to go over some of my original characters. If you want to hear anything else about these characters, or you want to see more art in a format like this, just let me know in the comments below or by liking the video. I also want to hear about your original characters, whether it's from when you were a little kid or from a new story you've been working on. Especially if it's something you've been working on with other people, I think that's really neat, and I'm always interested in what original ideas people have going on. I just hope you'll join me the next time that I'm drawing or playing a game, and I will see you next time. Thank you.